We are live. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in our beautiful and wonderful world on this day. Thank you for joining us for shining the light on our community. With me today, I have a wonderful guest all the way from Vancouver in Canada, the total opposite side of the world from where I am. So I'm excited with the wonderful technology to be able to chat with Denise about a really interesting topic that I want to know more about, and I'm sure everyone else is interested too, about muscle tuning. So thank you so much for joining us today, Denise, for taking some time out. And just let me introduce you. First of all, definitely let me introduce you, and then I want to get to know you even more. So you train licensees and mentors, wellness professionals to rapidly improve mobility, flexibility, and strength, reducing muscular pain for their clients. And you have this whole system, which is something that I haven't heard very much about, just a little bit, and would love to know more about the muscle tuning, because it supports optimum return of physical and mental function after chronic stress and strain. And it's really wonderful that I'm talking to you now, because recently I broke my shoulder, right? And I've had a shoulder reconstruction surgery. And it's like getting all those muscles up here back to complete wellness. And it takes time. So I'm really, really honored and really appreciative of the universe for you to come today to chat to me and to everyone else, to tell us what muscle tuning is. So welcome, Denise. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to know about you to start with. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this whole therapy, this whole system of muscle tuning.
Well, a long, long time ago, in a place far, far away in the north of Canada, I had a painful neck, crick in my neck that just wouldn't go away. And I finally said, I think maybe I need to go see a chiropractor. And his assistant did a thing. I didn't know what it was, but it was muscle testing. And I was absolutely befuddled that sometimes a muscle would unlock and it would be okay. She wouldn't be pushing hard. This could hold and this one wouldn't. And she did this from head to toe. And it was weird, man. And then the chiropractor had me in his office and he looked at the report she had given and he said, "Tell me more about you." And I says, "Well, I've got these chronic headaches and maybe it's not so great taking a pain reliever 3 or 4 times a day for over a year." And what's really bothering me, I need you, because I hear you're like, you crack on backs and fix necks and things. This is what's bothering me, is my neck. It hurts. And he said, "What else is going on?" And I said, "Well, I've had recurring bladder infections really badly in the last year." And and he goes, how do you eliminate? And going, pooping's not that great. Maybe every 3 days. I mean, that's normal for me. And he's going, everything's connected. And I thought he was crazy. So he did his chiropractic thing and he retested all the muscles that weren't working before. And they were all locked strong, like bull. And I knew in that instant, that's what I want to do when I grow up. The problem was with that is I was living up north and there was no way I was going to go to school for over 8 years and then start a practice, because it wasn't my life trajectory at that part, but I really wanted to learn how to do this. And all I know is the day after that appointment, I walked out feeling like $1 million. Like the energy, the vitality that was released in me was phenomenal. And the next day, I'm pooping, I'm sleeping, I don't have a headache, I don't have a crick in my neck. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I don't think I had a bladder infection again for 15 or 20 years after that. So I'm going, wow, this is really doing something. And I was moved away and I was walking by my library here in Vancouver. And I saw a little sign back in 1995 and it said, "Learn muscle testing." And I was like, you don't have to be a doctor to learn muscle testing. And I found the layperson version called Touch for Health, which is very popular in Australia.
Yes.
It's very popular, actually, if you know where to look for it. There's hundreds of thousands of people who have taken the classes. And I eventually became an instructor.
Mhm.
And there were challenges with that for a couple of reasons. And anyways, I've been taking lots of classes. That was just like I went down the rabbit hole and took lots and lots of classes. And I finally came with a system that was faster and efficient that anybody could do, even if they weren't already a wellness professional. So any kind of wellness providers, energy workers who want to make things look a little more scientific, or the science-based people who want to get into energy medicine. And it works. It works so fast. My last Facebook post was about a student I was coaching to offer it over Zoom. And this, I've also had a shoulder issue, and this muscle wouldn't go further than this.
Yeah.
And in 2 corrections, she got it to go here. And with 1 more,
There.
right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I get so excited. So
Yeah.
that's why I do what I do, because I used to offer this to other people all the time. And now I'm on the other side of the treatment table.
Yes. Yeah. Which is wonderful. So thank you. I just want to just really thank you and honor you for doing that, because, muscles, well, muscles connect everything. I mean, obviously we've got all our ligaments and everything else, but if our muscles are locked in any way, you can't do anything. I know, like for me, my body, one of the ways my body shows up resentment really quickly is I get my muscles in my thigh locks up, my groin, it just forms a great big knot and you can't move, you can't go forward. So to be able to release all of that and to know how to also to unlock other muscles or to strengthen them would help so much in life, help so much. So thank you. I do one question that I have, because a lot of people who are listening, and I know, like I've heard of kinesiology, which is also very big. So what's the difference between kinesiology and the systems that you use?
Well, at some point around 2018 in Canada, our national association, which was a Canadian Association of Specialized Kinesiology, received cease and desist letters from organized groups, colleges that were representing the real kinesiologists who studied at university, and none of this energy woo-woo stuff. And so they basically just said, you cannot call what you do kinesiology anymore, because it's confusing members of the public. And so we've rebranded to bioenergetic wellness facilitators in Canada. But I was ahead of that by applying for a trademark called muscle tuner.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So the foundation is the same, but there's extra bells and whistles on the basic stuff.
And it's great. So can anyone use this? Anyone do this? Like even myself, who has just had surgery, well, about a month ago, right? And yes. I can definitely use that to help heal and help. Not unlock, because it's just healing. So I have very limited movement. I can't, this arm I can raise there, but this arm is like that much.
You would benefit from going to somebody who could work on you. But yes. And I am looking to train wellness providers to replicate myself so that they can work with people like you. Okay. Now, the fact of the matter is when I was in the hospital with my injury, I was holding buttons and rubbing things and trying to activate things and rubbing things and getting it to go a little bit more. And I was actually shocked that I was released from the hospital in only 4 days. And off I went. And when I got home, I would do a little bit. I turns out I also had a concussion. So focusing for more than 5 minutes at a time was a bit of a challenge. And when I could focus, I would do one muscle a day, just do one muscle. And it supported me so brilliantly, while my favorite wellness providers wouldn't touch me because I was too fresh in my injury, or because they were away on family break in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't imagine people fully regaining their wellness without some of this type of approach. I can't fathom it now that I'm on this end of the scale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Can we go more into the bioenergetic concepts, like the scientific side? We know, well, we don't know, but we hear of, the muscle testing and the energy around it. And a lot of people find it a little bit out there. It is a little bit woo-woo.
It is absolutely wild to experience when it's your first time.
Yeah.
It looks and feels magical.
Yes.
And excuse me, I just have to mute myself for a second.
It's okay. It's no problem, Jill. It's fine.
Pardon, when you swallow the wrong way, you swallow the wrong way.
Yes.
So I was just now got off a call with a massage therapist. Pardon me.
You're right. You're okay.
And I explained to her that range of motion is very important. She says, I understand that. I'm a massage therapist. And I said, the thing is I'm going to show you a couple muscles today. And it's the pec major clavicular, which originates here on the clavicle over here. And the pec major sternal, which starts on the sternum. And they both attach here on this big bone, the humerus. But the thing is there are different bands of muscles together are always called the pecs, but they're on two different electrical circuits. Okay. And she's going, really? And I says, yes. They have shown that every muscle connects to an organ or a gland via the meridian system of Chinese acupuncture.
Yes.
And I think it's pretty scientific that Dr. Bozang injected radioactive dye into an acupoint successfully after many, many tries. Very tricky because those little acupoints are like the meridian is the width of a hair. So he managed to get radioactive dye in the channel, and it didn't diffuse in the tissue. It followed these predictable channels that the Chinese have mapped out thousands of years ago.
Yes.
So that's pretty scientific. And the thing is it went challenged for many, many years until another guy in France replicated it. And now because it was replicated, it's scientific. And many of the researchers, the osteopaths, I don't think of anything much more scientific than saying, wow, you feel like injecting radioactive dye into your patient, putting them in a fluoroscope, and then just touching points on their head and seeing where the blood flow goes. So if you touch here, the blood flow is going to the intestines. And if you touch here, it goes to the heart and the lungs. If you touch here, it goes to the kidneys, and so on and so forth. So that's reproducible. And they've taught that if you touch this, and they know that this is going to the large intestine meridian, and the chiropractors, the applied kinesiology chiropractors, God bless Dr. Goodhart for being so curious when he was having little accidents in his clinic and little miracles were happening. But he dug deeper and he looked into the work of the osteopaths. He was accidentally activating some of their reflexes. And he went, wow, they correlate. And this muscle that I've associated with the large intestine meridian, this reflex that these other guys, either for the head or on the body, two different researchers, they correlate to the large intestine. And so when we activate that, it strengthens the muscle over and over and over. And it's been taught to hundreds of thousands of people in the world, predictable results. And yes, it's not a lot of evidence-based studies on it yet. Everything's evidence-based medicine right now, but there are lots of research papers. And it proves that the energy balancing work that we do balances the tone of the opposing muscles. So if you've got tension in the back of your neck, tension in between your shoulder blades, it's because these muscles or the chest muscles are not carrying their share of the load. And so many times you go to where the problem's shouting, but that's not where the problem started. And that's what we're really good at finding. and fixing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so true, isn't it? You know, you think that you might have a sore foot, for example. But yet, when you go see, especially the Chinese medicines, the acupuncturists and the acupuncturists and all the meridians, is they work on something completely different, a different space to release whatever it is that's causing the issue in other parts of the body and stuff.
The body is listening, and when it's in pain, it often won't respond to something you do in that area. But it's watching what you're doing over there. Yeah. And if over there is connected to this thing, and it's not magical, it's all research. Basically, like my program, you open up a page, it says, there's the muscle, that's where it starts, that's where it ends, this is where the reflexes are, this is how you position it, this is the direction you push. It's that simple. And I've taught my students to do this over Zoom, especially with my current challenges. And the last two, so successful. They were the last one. You should have seen her face. It was a perfect O with her mouth. When she saw the range of motion go like this, she was like, oh. And I took a screenshot for a private Facebook group. I can't post it in social media otherwise, but it was precious because she shocked herself that in only a few minutes that we got that result.
Yes. So you can do this over Zoom?
Absolutely. It's not as fun. It takes a little longer, but it's still doable. It's if the world ever goes into another shutdown again, people will still be able to help others get out of pain.
Yeah, fantastic, especially because it's all part of the energy stuff and energy healing. And, energy healing can be done anywhere. And I've experienced many benefits. And I have had, what we know in Australia is kinesiology or muscle testing. And it's incredible. It really, what our muscles, what is held in our muscles and what our muscles can tell us, what our body can tell us, but our muscles in particular is, is amazing. I said it really, really is. Are there any other fields besides just our health and overcoming pain and blockages? Can you use the muscle, your system, for anything else in our life?
I'm trying to get my brain wrapped around on exactly the question you're asking. But for example, a lot of the massage therapists that I train they take it because they need continuing education credits. So they have to study something. So they're going, this is interesting. And guess what? When we did market research, most of them had injuries themselves that had not been successfully treated with other modalities. They could have been in a chiropractor office, a physiotherapist office, a massage clinic, and had friends work on them, and they weren't getting a change. So it was really interesting to find out that's kind of our target market of people who are injured already, who are wellness professionals, wellness providers. But literally, I would love to educate the kids out of university so they could get a summer job doing this instead of waiting tables. Mm-hmm. Don't tell the restaurants I said that, okay?
No, but it's true. It's true. And even if we just get educated and realize on how we can help our bodies and how we can help other bodies, like I can just imagine the world that we live in. And I know, other health professionals may lose some clients, doctors and whatnot, because we can look after ourselves with listening to our bodies, knowing how to treat our bodies, and that's what I really believe, that muscles will tell us what is needed. And, we may have an injury somewhere and we don't know what's the cause of it, where I really believe that the muscles do tell us the source of that injury and how to heal it and things.
Well, it's been a learning journey for me having this experience, because book learning is one thing. knowing is one thing on the theoretical level. But when I went to demonstrate a muscle test for this, you plant this on the desk and you push here and it should lock. And there was someone complaining of insomnia in one of the meetings I was at. I says, plant your elbow down there and just gently push. And she just couldn't get it. She couldn't get it. And I'm showing it looks like this, it locks. And then I tried this one and it wasn't. So I showed her where the reflex point was. And says, I hope this helps with your insomnia. And in the meantime, then we recheck and this muscle locked. And then you wouldn't believe this tiny little muscle in here, it helps you with bending your arm. And so my self-imposed physiotherapy after my injury was emptying the dishwasher and taking the plates, turning my arm and putting them up on the shelf, right? Had to do something on little Corel plates, not very heavy. It was so difficult. And then what I found out is when I switched on this muscle, and then I thought, oh, maybe there's one in my wrist. When those guys were firing properly, they were back to work. It was incredible the amount of tension and stress that came out of my whole shoulder, back of my neck, just gone, because these muscles were trying to do the action these muscles couldn't do. It's not natural. And learning this personally, feeling it, it's priceless, absolutely priceless.
Yeah, totally understand, and love to talk to you more, Denise, and maybe I'm going to contact you as well. So because you do work on Zoom, so people all over the world can connect with you?
Yes, they can. I don't really take personal clients anymore.
Sure.
I feed them off to my students. I have a student in Australia who's known as the pain magician. I will put you in contact.
Please do. Please do.
He specializes in shoulders too.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's a match made in heaven. So thank you for having a chance to talk about, the thing that makes me get up in the morning.
Yeah, which is wonderful. And that's what I was just going to ask, what motivates you to get out of bed in the morning?
It's the satisfaction of watching people's eyes light up, like it happened for me in my very first session, and to watch them bounce floating past my clinic window to get back to their car. And I mean, it's very predictable. Most people get a significant release of whatever they come in with. And I'm proud of doing that, because in this day and age, let's face it, cash flow is tight for some people. So if they're going to spend money and time getting back and forth to appointments, they want it to be efficient.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree, especially in today's world. And Denise, if I could just ask you, is there anything else that I could have asked you? Is there any other questions that I could have asked you, and how would have you answered that?
Well, one message I would love to put out in the world. It seems backwards. Let's say you go to the gym to get stronger and you want to tone up your muscles.
Yes.
And you work and you work and you work, and you can't put another 1 pound plate on that bar and lift it. You just can't, even though you've been at it for weeks and months. You're not toning. Your brain's not connected to those muscles. So my thing is, tune up your muscles first so that you can tone up. And so whether you're at a gym for fitness or you're doing rehabilitation exercises, when you have popped a circuit breaker, you have to wake up the brain-body connection to that muscle, and then that muscle respond to whatever it is you're trying to do.
Isn't that amazing? It's incredible, isn't it?
It really is. And I have a few free tips that you'll drop a link in the show notes.
We will.
And anybody can use these tips. There are several for the shoulder. I've heard some very positive responses for people when it's mostly muscular. And hopefully yours is muscular now that you've had repair done. It's not a nerve issue or structural issue. It's just got to wake those muscles up. Well, go take a look at our free tips. There's that. There's for stress. There's for neck. There's for shoulder. I invite everybody. We won't hound you if you download them, sign up for them. You won't get endless autoresponders saying buy our stuff. We just want to help you.
Which is wonderful. Thank you. And for anyone out there who is watching who would like to know more about this, about, being able to tune up. It's really tuning up your body. We need to tune up cars and stuff, but this is tuning up our bodies to get the optimum health, optimum fitness from our bodies without giving them injury first. So it's really getting in, it's connecting with your muscles.
The muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the fascia, the blood supply, the lymphatic supply, the nervous supply, and releasing emotional stress specifically in those systems. That's where we shine. And when you can do something simply that deals with the whole unit rather than just a piece, it's pretty profound. And so I'd love for people to come and look at muscle tuning at muscletuners.fit.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much for chatting today. Very interesting subject. I'm definitely going to check you out, check out your website, check out those links. And for people who are anywhere in the world, they can connect with you to find someone locally. Or if they want to train, you're the person to talk to.
I am.
Thank you ever so much, Denise, for joining us.
Thank you, Sophia. Be well.